Who that say there's no Saints news in the dead zone? Alvin Kamara reportedly reworked his contract to return to the team. You were wrong, Gary. To return to the team and end all the speculation that we've discussed over the past few months. You know it ain't that easy. Does this move mean that all the tension between the two sides is gone and we can be happy, joy together? Is everything just cool and hunky-dory again? How do you feel about the move? As we said 2 weeks before the start of training camp, we'll have a chat with our long-lost friend, Doug Mouton is here. We'll ask for his thoughts. Of course, Gabe is also here. I don't know what the poll question of the day will be. I don't know. Let's hurry up. Let the fun begin. Let's find out. The Dattitude podcast. It's next.
Ready to hear the straight scoop on local and national sports? It's time for Jim Derry's take on the Saints, LSU, what betting lines to ponder, and more. He's got opinions, he's got insight, and he's got Dattitude. And he'll always tell you the way it is, or at least the way he thinks it is.
What is up this morning, Dattitude family? Where you been all week? What you been doing all week? You miss me? You're missing that 3-day show, huh? That three show a week thing. Even my daughter was kind of missing it. She was like giving me some grief yesterday. But we're all here together, all in the same month. I have reworked my contract with the Picayune and Alvin Kamara with the Saints. Is it a coincidence? Well, that's what we're all here for, to figure it out. On Dattitude, episode number 523, presented by Evangeline Securities for a Thursday, July the 16th, 2026. Okay, if you insist, we'll focus on Kamara today. But first, in case you're new here today, I have to introduce myself. I am host Jim Derry, nearly 36 years on the New Orleans sports media scene. I thank you so much for spending part of your morning with us, and welcome. If you're new, what took you so long? But if you are new, welcome to the Dat family. You can vote in the poll today. If you've never been with us before, you can vote in the poll. I wonder what it's going to be about. We'll see. You know, who knows what we're going to. We could talk. We could just throw you a wrench in this show. Who the hell knows what we're going to talk about? Maybe we'll just talk about World Cup for the next, I don't know, 40 sons of. Don't get me started on that crap. This is why I don't allow myself to get involved in goofy ass sports, because I get pissed off. Messi. F Messi. F the World Cup. I mean, how the hell do you this shit's over? It's over. It was over. I don't get it. I don't know, man. There's too much going on there. I mean, I wasn't crying, but I mean, did you see the people, how they were reacting, man? I guess they do the same when it comes to football. I guess the Super Bowl is the same. I mean, it's like, you know, I don't know. They drew me in. They got me to like bet on something. I mean, it wasn't a lot. It's no big deal. It would have amounted to being able to take my family out for a sushi dinner, but still. Brits. That's why we seceded from your asses 250 years ago. Jackasses. Anyway. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess we probably won't talk about World Cup today. That's my World Cup spiel for the day. You know, maybe UBN knows what's. Maybe that's why he doesn't get involved. Maybe he's involved in too much stuff. Maybe that's why, you know, he didn't get pissed off. He doesn't hate Messi today. He didn't care about Messi today. Maybe I should be like that. A reminder, if you want to hear more stuff like this, and who the hell else knows, tell your friends. Subscribe to the Dattitude podcast on YouTube. By the way, Gabe says if I listen to Zach while I was betting, you'd have a guaranteed winner in the final. I don't care. Shouldn't listen to anybody. That's the problem. That's why I lost my money. I listen to people. I shouldn't. And every time I listen to people and lose my money, that's what happens. I'm like, I shouldn't listen to people. I give that advice all the time. Don't listen to other people. Take it, enjoy it, use it for entertainment info, but don't just go out there and say, someone says, you should bet on such and such. Don't ever do that. And every time I do it, I'm like, I'm not even listening to my own advice. I'm fired up this morning, by the way. I didn't even have any. I didn't have a sip, not even a sniff of coffee this morning. Nothing. That's how high on life I am. Excited to be here. Oh, yeah. What was I talking about? Reminder to tell your friends about how great this show is, and they should find us and subscribe to the Dattitude podcast because we have poll questions every day, and there it is. You can just take your phone out, zoom in right into that thing, and, find us on YouTube. All right, we're probably not going to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of, but we're still going to try. We have been in a subscriber lull lately. So if you want to break that subscriber lull, click on the button. I don't know what's going on, but all of our members are here. People have been watching on Facebook. We've still been doing pretty good on Facebook. I don't know what's going on, why everybody wants to watch. No, if you're watching on Facebook, that's great, but help us out. Help the algorithm. Watch us on YouTube. Subscribe. Whatever. I don't care. Anyway, if you want to talk to me after, you can find me on Twitter, X, whatever you call it, at Jim Derry Jr., or email me at Jim at jimderry.com. What is different about our show, besides the fact that I'm a little different? You talk to us, we talk back to you. And I'll be doing that in just a minute. We'll be showing comments. You see all those lovely people at the bottom of the screen? They are all members. They're all members of the Dattitude podcast. That's right. Not only did they subscribe on Dattitude, but they are giving their hard-earned money every month because they want to help this show continue and keep on rolling. We thank you all for doing that. Before we go any further, you know what else I got to do? Got to tell you about our friends at Evangeline Securities. Of course, they're a company that can help you decide, Evangeline, while I'm going off on tangents, isn't it kind of a miracle that I found companies to not only do these lovely people at the bottom of the screen, I found 2 companies to help back the show and keep it going and support. It's amazing, isn't it? Just goes to show you that anything is possible in America. Evangeline Securities is possible. Again, let me tell you about it. They're a company that can help you decide if it's the right time to sell your family-run or privately held business, and just as importantly, they can help you figure out what that business is worth. That's you, someone you know, someone you love. You got to have them reach out to Evangeline's founding partner, Nick Braden. He will start by scheduling a complimentary valuation of your company, either in Poydras Street or in Lafayette. From there, you'll be well informed to begin to make the decision on if you want to proceed. What happens after that? We'll fill you in more later in the show after we talk to Doug, before we talk to Gabe. In the meantime, you can check them out at www.evangelinesecurities.com. Remember the other day how I promised that you would never see the Joe DeStefano commercial again because it was going to change. I had to update it. I had to redo it. Nope. You get it one more day. You get it one more. You get the commercial one more day. Joe's out there. He's probably just shaking his head at me. Whatever, dude. High in life, baby. Check out my friend Joe DeStefano. If you own a small business of fewer than 20 employees, you know how tough it is to get the best rates on health insurance. That's why you want to call Joe DeStefano Insurance. Joe and I have known each other for almost 40 years. I can tell you that he's someone that I trust. Look, health insurance shouldn't be one size fits all, and with Joe DeStefano, you get access to PPO networks and flexible plans designed to fit you, not just a cookie cutter mold. Joe's licensed, he's local, but he can help you no matter where you live and operate. From preventative care to peace of mind, we'll tailor a plan that works for your life today and tomorrow. Call Joe DeStefano at 504-234-2132 to protect what matters most. Let's get this show on the road. I promise. Not only have I not had any coffee, I've not had a single illegal drug or illegal substance or anything like that. I'm just high on life today. I know, because I was thinking in the commercial break, what would I think if I was watching the show? I was thinking this whack job's on something. I promise I'm not. I'm just high on life tomorrow. All right, today. Tomorrow I might be high on life too. Who knows? Let's get to the poll question, and we got to get the comments. You know what today's poll question is going to be. We're talking to Alvin Kamara, baby. Derry, you were wrong again, you stupid ass. You said he wasn't coming back. I'm still not 100% sure, by the way. I know. What is it going to take? It's going to take seeing number 41 grab that football and run for 2 yards up the middle. That's what it's going to take. And I'm like, okay. Still not 100% sold. I know they reworked the deal. I'm still not 100% sold. You heard it here first. Anyway, what about you? Rework contract, first reported by Teron Armstead on his podcast. Boy, Teron Armstead's getting all the news these days, huh? Funny how that works. Remember the old days when somebody locally would get something, and then it was ESPN always got it, and then it was whoever. This guy, it's like, these people going to put Adam Schefter out of business. It's just, I mean, it's whoever's friends with whoever now. Honey Badger's getting news. Teron Armstead gets news. Everybody gets news except for the people who actually write the news. They got to get, first reported by so-and-so's podcast. That's just so strange. Anyway, today's poll question. A member of the media since I was not quite 22 years old, 36 years ago. I'm going to take that almost out pretty soon, by the way. Pretty much 36 years. That's crazy. Somebody's been in the media, I think, longer than me is coming on the show in a little. I think Doug's been in the media longer than I have. I'm going to ask him. Between us, probably got close to 8 decades of service in the media industry. Crazy. That's right. Today's poll question is, how long will I'm just kidding. How will Alvin Kamara work out as an RB2? How will it work? He has reworked his deal. He is coming back. Everything's hunky-dory, right? We're asking you today, what do you think? I know some of y'all hate when I talk about this because you hate my opinion on this. It's okay. We don't have to agree about everything. It's all good. We don't have to agree on everything. It's cool. I'm going to vote in the poll today too, but I'm going to tell you my vote in a minute. So, again, if you're watching live, and even if you're not watching live, you can vote after the fact. It won't count in these numbers, but that doesn't matter. It's not scientific anyway. So feel free to vote afterwards. But how will Alvin Kamara work out as an RB2? Type in the number 1 if you say, it's like my mama's gumbo. It's going to work out perfectly. Everything will be fine, hunky-dory, beautiful. We'll forget it even happened, right? I've already forgotten. Oh, well, that's answer number 2. Type in the number 2 if you think, there might be a few hiccups, but overall it's going to be cool. We won't talk about this at all. Maybe by week 4. It'll just go into the past. Nobody's going to even mention it. Few hiccups, maybe. Type in the number 3 if your answer is, I ain't sold. We're going to see. I'm still not sure it's going to work out. That's your answer. Type in the number 3. And then type in the number 4 if your answer is, this is dumb. It isn't going to work. Why are we doing this? Why are we wasting our time? Type in the number 4. So those are your answers. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like my mama's gumbo, perfect. A few hiccups, but all will be forgotten by week 4. I still ain't sold. We shall see. And type in the number 4 if this is just dumb. It ain't going to work. Let me give you my answer. Doug's in the green room already. He might come on a little early. I got to get to the comments. But my answer is, you know what my answer. If you've been watching this show you probably only need to watch this show like twice in the last 2 weeks, last month, whatever. You know what my answer is? My answer is 3. I'm not going to say it's dumb. I can't say it's dumb because it's not dumb. You already had him under contract. You're already paying him money. So if you can rework the contract, great. But I'm not sold. We shall see. That's my answer. Sometimes you can read the questions in the way they're worded. You can figure out what my answer is going to be, right? I mean, you knew I was going to say like my mama's gumbo. It's perfect. I mean, you knew my answer was probably 3 or 4, but how would I say it? I'm not going to say this is dumb. Anyway, we'll get to the comments in just a second, but I mean, come on. You can't think that he's just going to walk in here and everything's going to be hunky-dory. Did you see the way? Well, let's think about it for a minute. Did you see the way that Kellen Moore was talking about all this? Every time it was brought up, it was almost painful for him to even talk about it. Every time it came up. It's not all going to be hunky. He's not going to be thrilled and excited and everything else that Alvin Kamara is back. He's going to work him in. It's going to he's going to be the RB2 if he comes back and everything works. Good Lord, we got a lot of comments. Just look. I guess I should get into them. Here we go. You know what? As usual, I'm going to start out with the man who's giving me money. UBN's here. $50 super chat. Thank you so much. You help support this show more than anyone else. In fact, maybe I should put UBN's name and presented by. He says it's hush money. Can we hush about you losing money on soccer, you degenerate? He's calling me a degenerate. And he wants me to keep it down while the Open is on. You know what? That's why I need to. You know what? I don't know if I can even watch the British Open UBN because every time I turn it on, I'm going to think about, although it's not in England this year, is it? Where is the Open this year? I don't even know. Live TV. Open site. Where is it this year? Where is it? Come on, man. You got to be joking. It is in England. It's at Royal Birkdale. Oh, well, I don't even know if I can watch that shit. Anyway, thank you, UBN. Sorry I'm ruining your precious little Open. Dattitude, Jerry's here. Hello, Jerry. Mara's back. He's excited. No more trades or that's not true, Jerry. No more trade talks. You think that ends the talks? Hell no. Hell no. I know, Sav. You're excited about Argentina. You and Messi can both pith off. Pith off. I don't know what's going on this morning. Maybe I brushed my teeth the wrong. I think I jabbed my tongue when I was brushing my teeth. Rocky, good morning. Alvin, good morning. Glad you're here. Kyle Sherman, hello. Good day for Saints fans. And there you go. Kyle's happy that Alvin Kamara is back. Rocky says, wasn't comparing to the other RB2s. He thinks he's better when he doesn't have to do all the work. I mean, how do we know? How do we know? You can't compare 31-year-old Alvin Kamara to 27-year-old Alvin Kamara. You just can't. Oh, there you go. Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's, I guess, this morning. Who knew? Whatever, Gabe. What else we got here? I'm sorry if I'm going to have to pass along and go through a couple of them a little quicker than I'd like to, but yeah, I rambled on this morning. Charles Mangus, good morning. We'll see how creative and explosive our offense could be with Alvin Kamara finally. Finally? What do you mean finally? He's never been out of it except for the games he's been injured. He only missed the last five games of last year. But, that's nothing new. He misses games all the time. He does miss games all the time. Good morning, S. Callie. There you go. Can't wait it. Derry, you were wrong. Can't wait. I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning, and all I could think about was telling Derry how wrong he was. Can't wait. Now, do you feel better? You said you and I. I'm still not sure I was wrong. I'm just saying. He reworked his deal. I'm still not sold. I know. What's it going to take? Bashing me over the head with a mallet? Maybe. I don't know. I'm stubborn. I get it. Ron Hendrickson, good morning. AK back in the fold now. Kellen Morris to figure out how to use these two backs to their full potential. He does indeed. He will. Lance, good morning. Steel Bill, good morning. Kyle says Spain will beat Argentina. I don't even think I'm going to watch it. And I'm dead serious. I really don't know if I will. I'll watch it if I'm sitting there, it's on, and there's nothing else to do. I will watch it. But we'll see. Josh the Voice, 10th best running back in the league. More like 12th. You talking about Kamara? Where did that number come from, 10th? Did I miss that in comments? Somebody says the 10th best running back? If I missed it, I'm sorry, but there's no way Alvin Kamara is in the top 20 in running backs in the NFL. Not close. Let's see. Here's somebody taking up for Kamara. Lance, you've been taking up for Kamara. Armstead said it well. Poor line play and quarterback play. Poor coaching and Alvin Kamara in purgatory. He's 31 years old. You know what had Alvin Kamara in purgatory? 30. That number 30. When running backs turn 30, they might as well be 50. More times than not. Just saying. Kamara's not an RB2. He is on this team. Josh, he absolutely is. Oh, he is here. Told you he was shaking his head. Joe, what's happening? All right, I got to get moving. I told him he's coming on at 9:20. It's 9:21. Ray Sun. Hello, Ray Sun. I'm going to get to more comments, I promise, as we move along here. But I got to get him on. I got to say hello. It's been a long time. I don't even know the last time we spoke. It's been a while. Welcome to the show, Doug Mouton. I'm just letting you know I am high on life this morning. I am extra fired. I'm even more fired up than usual. I have no idea. I haven't had any coffee. I haven't had any illicit drugs. I haven't had anything. I don't know why I'm so fired up, but I am fired up. Good morning.
You do realize it's July 16th. This is the time of year when it's okay to like take a step back and relax a little bit.
No, man. I think maybe that's it. Maybe I finished my summer sleep.
Maybe that's it. There's nothing to get mad about, so you're going to manufacture rage.
Exactly. So I have woke up from my summer slumber, and I'm ready to go.
That's so fun. Yeah, not me. I'm just happy. Look, I know me being in a good mood always aggravates you, but I will say, like, I love the start of training camp. I love that time. Like,
really?
I love being out at the 110-degree practices. I know that sounds like I'm making that up, but I really
thought you were being facetious. You really like
not. That. I love it. But you know what else I love? I love the last 2 weeks when I walked into the newsroom yesterday and they were saying something. David Hammer had a big story. So like the newscast had a lot of stuff. And I said, look, if you need to kill me today, you can kill me today. I said, I'm not trying to get out of work, but as it is now, I'm kind of making up sports for now.
Yeah,
and then little did we know the news of Alvin Kamara broke a couple hours later. And I did have one legitimate sports story. I mean, I can talk about the World Cup, but if I don't talk about the World Cup, it's not like you're not going to find that information on a billion other channels. So to me, 99% of my focus is always local. And when Kamara happened, that at least gave me something to talk about. I mean, it was actual news. But other than that, I'm kind of making stuff up this time of year.
We get to the point where I start like wondering what's going to be on the title slide.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm thinking about it 2 days before the show. And then I'm thinking about the whole day and I still don't know. And I wake up in the morning and I really don't know. And I'm like, I start going through old shows and I'm like, what did I use this time last year?
What was fun? Right.
Exactly.
And look, I don't mind that. I mean, I don't overthink it. That's the time of year it is. Like this July, especially, and really this summer has been quiet. If LSU doesn't go to the College World Series, it expands the quiet, which is fine.
I think you realize that. And I took less vacation than usual. Obviously, when you're independent now, I'm not independent again, and I'm still trying to figure everything out, whatever. But when you can't take, like last year, I took a month off. Okay.
Yeah.
But I took all my vacation at one time. I literally took everything I had. I took it at one time. I didn't have that this year. So I only took like a week and a half to 2 weeks off. And I realized that not only did I take 2 fewer weeks off, but I did not have LSU like I had last year.
Yeah, right.
And so you get through June and you get into July, and then we're still in the dead zone. I mean, thank God you had Alvin Kamara.
Exactly. I know, 100%. And that's, like I said, that's great. But if I have to run World Cup, I mean, look, the Sun Belt Media Days are today. And look, yes, well, look, I don't think a lot of people realize.
Troy, go.
Sunbelt offices are still. I mean, look, James Madison made it to the college football playoff. Sunbelt had a great football year, and the offices are in New Orleans. This is a New Orleans conference, which I don't think many people realize. Louisiana Tech's in the conference now. We got some stories that, you know what, that'll cover us just fine for today.
Maybe I'll do a
Am I saying that
show.
This is the news people are like, can't wait to get a piece of? Of course not. But you know what? There's some interesting nuggets in there. So
maybe we'll have
that's what we do right now.
If I have a Sun Belt show, you're going to be my guest.
Actually, Seth that I work with, because Seth was in.
Seth
Lewis was in Lafayette and is like literally like a Sun Belt expert. Seth is the guy.
There is such a thing.
We all have we all cover Saints and Pelicans and LSU and the local sports, but then we also have our weird little pockets of stuff. Seth is the Sun Belt. Me is Major League Baseball. Like we all have like the little things that we just enjoy. And anyway,
I'd like to call myself an expert, but obviously by watching me in both fantasy leagues this year, I'm having a really, really bad year in that. All right, have you watched any World Cup, by the way?
I've watched a lot of it, and
okay.
I can safely say from a personal barometer, I've watched more World Cup than ever before. And I will say, look, being in the United States obviously makes it different because all the timing of the games is great. And look, for me, I get to work at 2:00, so I'm putting on a ball game that's, look, the intensity, what it means.
There's definitely intensity.
Every single game. Like, I don't care if you're a huge soccer fan or not. The games are fun. The game yesterday, the Argentina-England game was up. Like, I thought it was amazing to watch. I mean, England scores and you think, they're moving on. And then the Spence guy, who's one of my favorite guys in the tournament, makes that great defensive play. It's like, I think England's moving on. And then Argentina is just relentless. That was fun. That was fun sports at the highest stage in the world. And it was fun to watch. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, you also realize that the match yesterday was it a coincidence that the match yesterday was in Atlanta? It looked like England had wrapped it up, and then they choked.
Yeah.
Just like they were probably on the home side of the field, and they got the Falcons disease. They just choked like the Falcons do.
Funny.
And then it wasn't quite 28-10, but it's.
I'm not buying into all of the language. Like, I don't say match. Like, to me, it's a game.
Yeah, I
don't care if people in Europe say idiot Americans call it a game. It is a game. And like last night, I said that made it 1-0. That means 1-0. Like, you can't say 1-0 or you're an idiot. You have to say 1-0. I'm not buying all the language.
My favorite is 0-0. It's 0-0.
I feel like saying it.
Yeah, 0-0.
Yeah, don't shame me for saying 1-0. It is 1-0.
And it's not a final, it's full time.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, it's a final. Yeah, I'm not buying the language. I'll say it however the hell I want to say it.
All right, people want to talk about the same.
So every time I say 1-0, and you get, there's only 2 more games, but Sunday I'll do at some point it's going to be 1-0, and I'm going to say that means 1-0.
That's another thing. How stupid
translating for the American audience.
How stupid is this sport? We got to have a consolation match.
Yeah, I know.
Who cares who's
in third place? Look, that made sense 50 years ago. But, man, after what happened to England, you got to go out and play another game.
Remember the Final Four? They used to do that. People,
they did in the Final Four.
Young people don't remember this, but in the NCAA tournament, they used to have a consolation game.
Oh, my God.
LSU was in the consolation game.
Oh, I don't even remember. Like, nobody watched it. They did away with it because everybody was like, oh, these poor guys have to play again.
Exactly. That's the worst part.
It's like torture for losing.
Yeah, well,
All right. I know we got to get to what we got to get to here.
Yeah, all right. Here we go. And I'm going to lead it in with this. Hart's comment saying he thinks Alvin Kamara will be a net asset. He's 31 now. He's injury prone. But as the number 2 option, I'll show you the poll question in a minute. He thinks he still could have some value. He could be wrong. Maybe, but that's how he's feeling. How are you feeling about Alvin Kamara?
I'm sorry, who wrote that? Put him back up.
Hart Pisani wrote it, who also has his own podcast, by the way.
I would tell Hart Pisani if I could do a little copy editing, I would just scratch that last sentence, right? Don't give the qualifiers at the end.
Could be wrong.
We don't need that. That lessens it. So from could be wrong to the end, I'd scratch that, and the rest of it I think is perfect. I think it's right on. Here's the thing, Jim, and look, manufactured rage. I'm going to go back to that because I was listening to you while I was. Look, I got to have a water, so I was pouring a water and listening to your manufactured rage.
That's all I got in my cup, by the way, is water. It's all.
I trust you. If Alvin Kamara can lend value to this, first of all, they're under the salary cap, right? And second of all, he had a contract, so you're paying him either way, right?
Correct.
You could have paid a tiny bit less by cutting him, but there's no value in cutting him. That doesn't make your team better by cutting him. I'm not saying it makes your team better by keeping him, but it definitely doesn't make your team better by cutting him. If Alvin Kamara works out and can give you some value as a number 2, that's awesome. If he doesn't, you've still got plenty of options behind him. Look, one of the things I was watching in minicamp that I was watching really closely, because anybody tells you they learn a lot is lying to you. But you can watch things and you can learn things. And the first thing I was looking for was, how are they going to do the rotations at running back, right? How are they going to do? Is it going to be Achane Kamara has taken the first snaps at running backs for years, right?
Right.
I had a feeling he wasn't going to take the first snaps. It was going to be Achane taking the first snaps. So then would Achane get the full load of snaps and then Kamara would come in as a 2? Would he get like a couple? Then anyway, Achane got the full load as the 1. And not only that, but one of the things that was interesting, and there's no pads, so they're running, 3/4 speed, half speed, most things. Achane was all over the field and getting the ball in all kinds of different ways, different little, not screen passes, but different little routes that they're popping him the ball all over the place, right? And that was obvious if you watched a little practice that, okay, they're going to get this guy the ball a lot in a lot of ways. The takeaway is he is clearly, without question, without debate, the number 1 guy, right? And we knew that.
Right.
I wanted to see that. Like you can't just know things. You got to get evidence to back up what you know, right? So there is no doubt about who is the 1 and who is behind him. And who is behind him is every other running back, right? So without Kamara, you've got this group of Kendre Miller, talking about a guy who hadn't been able to stay healthy, but has shown some ability in the rare instances when he is healthy, like at Buffalo last year. And Devin Neal, who you hope can make a little progress in year 2. Audric Estime, who looked good at the end of the year. Look, he's a 3rd or 4th guy at best. Those are you guys behind him, and Alvin Kamara. If Alvin Kamara can provide value, that's a bonus, and it's awesome. If he doesn't provide value, you've still got those other guys who hopefully can, and you've still got your number 1 guy who has been healthy as an NFL starting running back, and you hope that'll continue. And he is going to get the overwhelming lion's share of the work anyway. So
right.
It's not like you're counting on Kamara in the way you were counting on him last year. When I say it's not like that, I mean it is a 180-degree difference. Alvin Kamara, if he can give you 6 or 8 touches in a game, is a bonus. And I'll tell you, there won't be more than that. There probably won't even be that. If you talk about between 25 and 30 running back touches in a game, I think Travis Etienne, if it's 25, Travis Etienne's getting 17 or 18 of those. And that leaves 7 or 8 for that whole collection of other guys. So if Alvin Kamara can give you 4 or 5 quality touches, you are 100% right about 31 years old. And he hasn't been the same since he was about 28 or 29.
I agree.
But that doesn't mean, look, I remember talking to Mike Detillier, and Mike Detillier had talked to Jimmy Taylor, right? The great Green Bay Packer running back who finished his career with the Saints, was the Saints' leading rusher in 1967. And Jimmy Taylor told him, and I think veterans at that type, guys who are clearly nearing the end, right? Which you could say about Kamara is that they can't do it all the time, but they can do it every once in a while. And Jimmy Graham was that at the end of his career. I don't think Kamara is going to be a 17-game difference, but I do think if you give him the benefit of the doubt and say maybe he can do it every once in a while, he might provide a difference in 2 or 3 or 4 games where he could catch lightning in a bottle, which he still can do at 31. Doing it consistently is the problem, and counting on those guys, but you can do it every so often. So if you can get a guy that can catch lightning a couple of games, he's certainly worth having. He's a leading rusher in Saints history. I love the fact that he's back. I love the fact that he worked out. If he doesn't work out, it's a net 0. It's not a loss. The team is still at the same spot they would have been, and he's not your number 1. That's the key. All of those are my take. And
saying that, I just like to throw out different comments here and there. And here's one for you, Josh. Derrick Henry, first of all, you're throwing out these 4 names that are quote-unquote 30-year-old RB1s. First of all, Nick Chubb just turned 30. He's never played a single down as a 30-year-old. Derrick Henry's a freak of nature. I've said this 1,000 times. He's a different. Aaron Jones, not a number 1 running back. Hasn't been for 2 years now. Nick Chubb, we don't know. He hasn't played a single down as a 30-year-old. So don't just throw that out there. He's never going to be a number 1 again. Kareem Hunt hasn't been.
He hasn't done it. What I just said about doing it occasionally, that's the definition of Nick Chubb the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt hasn't really been an RB1 in 2-3 years. So I mean,
but the point is, you don't need him to be a 1. You need him, like, literally, if he could give you 4 good touches in a game. And I'll say this, the one thing about Kamara that when you watch practice and you see is he is elite as a route running back. So even if his 4 touches are all in the passing game, I still think he can occasionally help you. And the Saints spent the offseason collecting weapons, right? How it's going to be divvied up, obviously none of us know exactly. I think he can play a productive small role in this equation.
Well, that leads me into I think I know what your answer is going to be, but I'm going to show it again and give everybody a chance to vote one more time here again. But here's the poll question of the day, and I think I know what your answer would be.
I like the poll, though. I got to say, I like the poll.
It's working out pretty good, but today's poll question, in fact, it's pretty balanced today, kind of about what I thought it would be. But if you want to vote out there in viewer land, please feel free. Type in the number 1 to the answer. How will Alvin Kamara work out as RB2? Type out number 1 if you say, it's like my mama's gumbo, Doug Mouton. It's going to be perfect. Type in the number 2 if you say, you know what, there'll be a few hiccups, but nobody's going to even think about this or even talk about this anymore by week 4. Type in the number 3 if you think, and which is my answer today, I ain't sold. I don't know about all this. We shall see what will happen. And type in the number 4 if your answer is, this is dumb, Doug. It just ain't going to work. What is your answer? I think it would be number 2, but you tell me.
Yeah, well, look, it's not 4 because he was under contract. So the choices were either working something out to bring him back that you're happy with or cutting him. And I don't see how cutting him, because you could still cut him. Look, if it's not where, if he is some kind of locker room problem, which I refuse to believe he ever would be. But if he is, you can still cut him later. So dumb is not true unless you're saying it was dumb to sign him 3 years ago, and you can't have that kind of hindsight. Like it's not dumb because you're giving something a shot, and if it doesn't work, your master plan is unharmed. So it's not 4. Now it depends on what you define as your mama's gumbo. And actually, my gumbo is better than my mom's gumbo.
Wow! Did you say that out loud?
My mom didn't make gumbo. My dad.
Okay. All right.
My dad has left this earth, and I improved on my dad's gumbo. And I would call him and say, "Dad, I got this idea for the andouille sausage," and they'd be like, "Oh, I like that." And so, like, we would talk about the gumbo. So I like to think I took his gumbo and took it up a notch. And I don't think my dad and I disagreed on a lot of things. I don't think he would disagree on that. So, but if you call perfect that they work in harmony and Kamara's giving you 4 good touches a game, then it might be 1. And here's the thing: if it is working, we probably are going to be talking about it. So I'm not even sure 2 is possible because we're not going to forget it. Like, that's the one thing. We cover the Saints so, like, we're so in that gumbo. Like, the hands are so.
You're going to be diving into your mama's gumbo.
Yeah. Oh, no. If it's working, we're going to be talking about it. If it's not working, we're going to be talking about it. If Travis Etienne gets hurt, we're going to be talking about it. So I'm not sure we're not going to be talking about it. And when you say you're not sold, my only point is that's okay. It's okay to not be sold. It doesn't harm the Saints to not be sold. This Alvin Kamara is a bonus if he works. And the one thing you said that I do want to sort of answer is you said Kellen Moore, every time he was asked about it, was non-committal, and he was. You're 100% right.
It wasn't just non-committal.
He was asked. No. He was asked about Kamara probably 7 times, and at least 5 of those were me asking. That was me bringing this up. Even Kamara wasn't there because I find it interesting, and I wanted to hear his tone. You are 100% right about Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore's poker face is not great, and he gives away what he means more by his tone sometimes than by his words. And his tone said, "Oh, I don't know if this guy's going to be part of my team." That's what I heard. He never said that, but that's what I heard coming out of his mouth.
I agree.
But I think the reason he said that, and I am 90% sure of this, I think the reason he said that was because he knew that Mickey Loomis and the organization was not happy with the contract, and he wasn't confident or wasn't 100% confident that they could get a new deal done. So when he's giving you know, because I asked him, my question to him was exactly, do you expect Alvin Kamara to be on your team this season? That's what I said, because I like to try to take all the guesswork out of the question, right? Like, yes or no. Do you expect him to be? And he said, well, he's on the roster. Like, that's not a yes. And it is true. He's on the – but I just think he was covering for the bosses and that he literally didn't know if they were going to work it out. I don't think it was anything to do with I don't want Alvin on the team. Alvin can't make us better. I don't think that was part of the equation at all. I think his questioning answer was 100% rooted in I don't know if they're going to work out a deal, and I'm pretty sure Mickey doesn't want him back at the current deal, and I'm going to go along with that. He's still at the part of the job where he doesn't, you know, hover over the organization in that Sean Payton way. And I say this every time I say something about Sean Payton, and that is not meant as a criticism of Sean Payton. That's who he is. He was spectacular in New Orleans. But Doug was not that kind of coach, and he didn't know if it would work out. So he didn't want to say, yes, he's on my team, because he wasn't sure if the contract would work out.
You're inside the scenes as much as anyone, though. Didn't you get the feel, though? And again, the Saints are tight-lipped. They're not going to ever say anything like this. But didn't you just get the feel like they were getting sick and tired of Alvin Kamara doing his own thing? Now he's not even like the star player anymore. He's like the old guy, and he's still like doing his own thing, and he's not working out with the team, and he just shows up when he wants to. He shows up one day out of the blue and then goes back to Florida or wherever the hell he was, Miami, and just disappears again. And that gets old after a while. And you could sense that this time it was striking a nerve.
I think, I don't know, but I think you're right. I think you're 100% right. I think, yes, but I also think they know what he can do in the passing game. And they know he's been a good teammate. And he's been extremely well-liked in that locker room for a decade. And they know what he can bring if they can, you know, get it sometimes. And I do. It's not the same as it was 3 years ago when Kamara was Kamara and could do no wrong. It is not that anymore. And I think Kamara, if you heard him, because he talked to us for about 20 minutes, that one OTA day that he came back, which, by the way, the coaching staff had no idea he was coming. He just showed up. Which was great for us, because in June we had so much gold to work with. And yes, I do think you're right, but I also think they know the value he provides, and that, you know, let's get him in there and everything's going to be okay, and he's going to be the guy. You know, having Cam in there too, he's got, you know, one of his old friends in there. And again, if it doesn't work, you've still got the same cast of characters behind Travis Etienne that you had before. So you're not harmed. I don't see any downside to what happened, because you can still cut bait if you really want to. And I don't think they will. I think he's a guy that could catch lightning in a bottle, not all year, but a few times.
That leads into my next question, because I don't know. Okay, I still ain't sold. All right, I've made it clear. I still ain't sold.
But you don't need to be.
They rework the contract, but to me, this makes it even easier to cut him or trade him now that they've reworked the deal, especially trade. I mean, now they don't even have to worry about what they get back in return if they actually wanted to trade him. I mean, because the money-wise, he's probably guaranteed whatever it comes out to be, whether it's 5, 6, 7 million. I mean, I know there's a rumor on here. I went and looked. There's nothing that says what the contract's going to be yet. Not from anyone I respect or trust anyway. So to me, this makes it even easier if they wanted to get rid of him. Before, they probably couldn't get rid of him except just to cut him. Then you're just eating $10 million for nothing. Now they could cut him or trade him, and it doesn't hurt as much.
100%. 100, which is why I keep saying that. Like, I don't see any way there's a downside to any of this. Like, because you could still have all those options, and you could still do whatever the heck you want. And my guess is the contract is written to the point that if he does provide value, that he can probably make just about as much money as he made. It's probably largely incentive based, which Cam Jordan worked out just fine for him last year. That's my guess. And if he doesn't produce, then you probably save some money. But I just don't see a downside. Like, he's been and I don't even disagree with that. Cover the team with a bit of nostalgia. Like, this guy has been a spectacular part of you could say the 09-11 was the greatest run of probably the second best run in Saints history. And he was a major part of it. And he was so much fun to watch and so much fun to deal with. Look, that COVID year, Alvin Kamara talked over and over.
Game.
He has the ability to explain football, although I don't think he'll ever watch another game after he retires. Like, I don't think he's a huge football fan, but he has the ability to explain and dissect football like few guys. Like Sean Payton there was the one game with Atlanta where Kamara went to Payton with a play, Payton ran it, and it worked for a touchdown. Like, he's been so much fun to deal with and so much fun to watch that I am going to be 100% on his side until he's not a Saint anymore. And then he'll go down as one of my favorite Saints in 60 years to watch.
Alvin Kamara is going to be so far gone when this is over, and it's going to be over after this year. I mean, I don't think he's playing.
Oh, yeah. I would. I'd bet that too.
He's going to be so far gone. They're going to have trouble getting. I don't envy Ken Trahan and whoever puts together the Saints Hall of Fame of trying to get him to come back even for something like that, because he's going to disappear off the face of the earth. And it's going to be one of those things where you see him like once every 2 years, like on Teron Armstead's podcast or something.
No, or at a NASCAR race. Right.
Oh, right. Or and just in the background, because you're just not going to get him to be able to show up for anything. And that's okay. That's who he is. But I tell you, once he's gone, he's going to be gone. I think it's going to be.
I will say there should not be any Kamara hate coming out of New Orleans.
No, of course not.
Ever.
Why would it be?
No, ever. Right.
No,
Which is what I said. Until he shows me that he can't, I think this guy could catch lightning in a bottle in a few games and help you this year.
Well, I will say this: like, people mistake things that misinterpret what I'm saying. When I say that, I'm going to believe it when I see it, and I still don't necessarily believe that he's going to be back. It's not because I don't think that he can't help this team or will find a way to be a part of this team. What I'm saying is something about this whole thing just doesn't feel right. It still doesn't feel right. There's obvious tension between the two parties. Alvin Kamara obviously still wants. I mean, one thing I know I was wrong about is Alvin Kamara obviously still wants to play football, or he wouldn't have gone to these lengths. He could have just said,
right.
No, exactly. He could have just said, I'm going out riding under the sunset. I don't care what you do with my contract. I'm going to be going. So he obviously, him showing up, him reworking his deal, he obviously wants to play. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the little bird, back in the days when I was listening to Peter Finney and Bob Rossler argue about Gotham when the Timberwolves were coming back to New Orleans. It's a done deal, Pete. No, it's not, Bob. I don't trust it. I don't feel it. It's just the same kind of thing. It just feels like something's wrong, and it's coming from the Saints side, and I still don't know if they even know what they want to do.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Although I'll say again, there's no downside. There's no loss. Like, you're good either way.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But, he's not going to be, or I know there's still some fans out there holding out hope he can even be RB. Josh the Voice, and he's been, let's see who gets the first stab at RB during training camp. Kamara was still working out his contract during minicamp.
He was at
Josh,
minicamp, everyone. No, he
0.0 he's RB1. 0.0.
Kamara was under contract. Kamara has a contract that if he shows up, the Saints have to pay him. Minicamp is mandatory. He was there, and the Saints ran everything through Travis Etienne. That Kamara is not going to be the number one guy unless Etienne goes down, and then for now, I guess it would be him. But then it would obviously be a competition again. But Etienne is the number one, and it's not even going to be close.
No,
he's going to get the full. How do they define it? Like in fantasy football terms, like he's going to get the full running back one load. Now that's not 100% load. That's like a 70% of running back touches. That's what Etienne is getting. And if you read some fantasy football writer say it's going to be a split of running back touches in New Orleans, don't read that person anymore because they're wrong. I don't know how the wide receiver touches are going to go. Like, I still think Olave is going to be one, but I do think it's going to be a lesser one than some people because there's going to be a lot of choices. But Achane as the running back is going to be a full load. You paid him $52 million for a running back. You got the most expensive running back room in the NFL, or at least you did before they reworked this contract. I don't know if it's still the most expensive, but it's expensive. He is getting the full load one, which I think is great for Kamara.
Yeah, I have no problem with them spending money on running backs.
No, I don't either. They needed that. They needed weapons, and that's another weapon. Kamara is at best will be your number 2, and there might be different number 2s per game.
Maybe.
It might be the number 2 some games. It might be Kendre Miller a number 2 in a different game. It might be Audric Estime. If you want to run between the tackles one game, could be the number 2 in one game.
I don't deny that, yeah.
And I think all of that is to Kamara's advantage at 31, because you're right. There's no way to argue with science and father time. Like, athletes have a decline at 30 in every sport,
especially running backs.
Some positions are minimized. Look, in baseball, without contact, there's an absolute decline at 30. You don't see the kind of baseball contracts you saw 20 years ago, because now there's good science to show you that you're probably wasting your money. Nobody's giving Jason Giambi huge contracts at 34 anymore, because it never works out, right? And there's definitely decline, but still do it in spurts. I think this is good for Kamara. I think it's good for the Saints. I think it's good for the city, who should be Kamara fans. He's earned that. I think it's good across the board. If it doesn't work, it's a no harm situation.
Yeah, look, I don't disagree with that part of it. I don't think there's any. I don't
disagree.
There is no harm. I mean,
no harm.
Like you say, they're paying him anyway. So I think that's what gets misconstrued out of things. I'm saying, Jesus, Downey doesn't want. No, you're not. But I'm saying there are people out there who think that I think that. But yeah, I think, again, my whole thing is I'm just not sold that A, it's going to happen, and B, it's going to work, because you're talking about a guy too, Doug, that has been in the RB1, has been the star his entire career. And he has no idea how this is going to work. He's going to be the number 2 guy.
He is, and I do think that's a variable to watch in training camp. How is he going to handle the idea? And I'm sure he gets it now, but he's really going to get it then. How's he going to handle the idea that I'm the 4 to 6 touch a game guy? At best. And some games, maybe not even that. Some games, that guy might be Kendre Miller. How is he going to handle that? Sure, certainly that's a thing. But if he doesn't, again, you still got the same cast of characters.
I bet you when you get to the end of the season, and you can even take out the games that if he doesn't play a game because of injury, that won't even count. So take out the game where he has 0 carries. I would be willing to bet that his average touches this season are going to be somewhere around the number 8. I think he's going to have about 8 touches
per game.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I think he gets significantly less.
You think it's less than 8?
I don't think there's 8 to go around. 25 to 30 is what there is in a game, and Achane's getting most of those. Now, if Achane gets hurt and misses a few games, obviously that number could go up. But when Achane is healthy, my guess is his average is going to be somewhere between 4 and 6.
Yeah, I think, look.
And 4 and 6 is a normal load for an RB2. That's
the weird thing is, one thing when Kamara and Ingram were working together, you could find ways every now and then to get them into the same backfield. Yeah. It didn't happen a lot, but I don't see these two guys. I don't see Achane and Kamara getting in the game at the same time.
I do.
How would they line up that way?
I don't know if it's going to happen a lot, but I think Kellen Moore is going to have a package where both of them are there, because they're both really good route runners. I think it's going to
have to put Kamara in a slot almost if you did that.
No question. They won't both be in the backfield, but or maybe they will be, but I can definitely see opportunities where they can both be in the field. You could split Kamara out. You could run him in motion and run him like a wide receiver. His decision-making, Sean Payton used to say, they ran a little choice route, and he almost always would break it in, fake out and break in. Kamara is terrific not just as a route runner, but as a route decision maker if you give him choices. And look, Kellen Moore, he's got some tools, and that's one of the things he's got. I'm not saying it will be, but I could absolutely see. And that's one of the things, again, things you look for early in training camp. I'm going to be looking, because they do a lot of, team, 7-on-7 work, 11-on-11 work. I'm going to see if they're ever out there together. And I bet in the first 3 days, we see them out there together at least once.
Gabe says he wants to see the Kellen Moore break out the wing tee.
Wing tee.
Well,
I think we ran the wing tee as like 8-year-olds at
Josh
Curly in the East.
Josh, I don't know. Stop it, man. Kamara isn't the better anything back than Travis Etienne. No, he's 31 years old. He's not the better. And that's another thing. That kind of leads into my point. I got one other comment that I want to show because I agree with this from Mal. Kamara's presence will be inconsequential. I actually think that's what's probably more likely than anything. The nostalgia has fans intoxicated about this Kamara stuff. I don't disagree with that. And the number that stuck out when I was looking at last year, I don't care. Don't tell me the offensive line sucked because it sucked the year before that, and Kamara had really good numbers. In fact, the offensive line was worse in 2024 than it was in 2025, and his numbers were really good in 2024. In 2025, they were terrible, and his receiving number dropped. I think his receiving yard, and I don't have it in front of me, but it was somewhere in the neighborhood of like 4.5 yards per game per catch. I mean, that's not Alvin Kamara. So, and there's enough of a sample size to tell me that is a major deal. Again, the running backs, it's not just players. You talking about Jason Giambi and athletes in general. It's not just your average Joe. There are offensive linemen that can play till they're 33, 34. There are wide receivers that can play to the 33, 34. There are defensive players that can play. It's different for a running back, Doug. When running backs turn 30, except in rare cases, except in unusual cases, it's something about the number, but they go decline. In 31, it's like dog years. You're adding on 5 more years. So I mean, to me, I agree with Mal. I just don't even know if he's going to be consequent. It doesn't hurt to try it, but I just don't see how this is going to work, I guess is my thing.
And you're 100% right. But yes, my point is you can play other positions. You can play there's always a LeBron James, but for every LeBron James who can play into his 40s and still be at a really high level, there are 72 guys who have already retired by the time they're 34 or 35. And yes, there are offensive tackles who can do that, but the vast, overwhelming majority of offensive tackles are out of the NFL by 30. Look, Ryan Ramczyk was unbelievably good. Yeah. He fit the norm of a quick decline when you got near that age. Now, he had a different degenerative knee problem. But yes, and running backs, yes, is one of the worst positions for – but there are – Frank Gore did it at a high – like there are still going to be the – you said Derrick Henry.
And there's one right there. Somebody said Frank Gore.
Oh, yeah, right. Freaks of nature will always exist. But if you play the numbers, which – most professional sports organizations do. And it's what the Saints are doing. The Saints have reduced this contract. They did it with Cam Jordan, even though Cam Jordan had double-digit sacks. They gave him an incentive-laden contract to cover themselves, to basically say, you know what? If you can be the freak of nature, we will pay you like that. But if you're not, you're going to get a lot less because it's and with Kamara, I'm guessing it's now incentive-laden. And if he can I still hold out hope. And actually, I like the comment that said people are intoxicated. That is a little bit of a danger that the guy who said Kamara is still going to be the number one. He's not. Like, accept the reality that you're not getting even 2023 Kamara.
Even if Etienne gets hurt, he's not going to be the number one running back.
But I still go back
to say that right now.
Occasionally. Look, Jimmy Graham's last year, he still helped him a few times, right? He didn't help him 6-17
Scored a couple
games.
touchdowns in the red zone, yeah.
He helped him, how many?
4, I think. I think he had 4 touchdowns.
That's what I'm saying. I think he helped him in like 4 games. He made a difference. And I think there's a decent chance that Alvin Kamara is enough of a freak, and he is an athletic freak. There's enough of a freak that in 3 or 4 games, you could say, oh, man, Kamara really helped today. And I do still think there's going to be 12 games where he's at least 12 games where he's a non-factor. But if he helps you in 1 game, he's worth having because you're paying him anyway. So you might as well have him.
No, I don't again, that's a part I don't disagree with. Aaron is agreeing with you. Aaron Michael 318 AK is a freak of nature. I'm telling you, an 11-game sample size last year is certainly large enough. Somebody said, oh, they only played an 11 game. Only 11 games a lot. That's 11 of 17. That's not
the whole high school
season. That's not three. Exactly. That's not 3 games. It's almost an entire college football season. That's a plenty large enough sample size to tell you that his numbers seriously decreased. I'm not talking about his total yards number. I'm talking about his average yards per touch. Seriously had a major decline last year, and that is a large enough sample size to tell me that he is not the same Alvin Kamara. He's not a freak of nature anymore. He's not the same player that he was 4 or 5 years ago. And again, he better not have to be. If HN gets hurt, they're all screwed anyway. So I mean,
and if he gets hurt, I don't think Kamara.
No, neither do I. I think they would use someone.
I mean, you've got all those options. You would need to use them all.
You still can't use them more than 10 times in a game, whether someone gets hurt or not. You're just not going to do that.
Yeah, that's what I was poorly trying to say. Yes, I don't ever see him being the 18 touches a game guy again. And look, we used to say we got to keep Kamara's touches down to about 18 to keep this guy healthy.
Right, now you got to keep it down to 8.
I mean, it was just 2 or 3 years ago on my touch screens that I do, like after the game, like I'm doing his touches per game and how this is unsustainable because he's third in the NFL in touches. Like he can't be that guy. Achane is going to be on that list. Okay, there's a prediction. Travis Achane will be top 10 in the NFL in touches by the end of the year. I agree. And I believe that, 1, based on the money they paid him, and 2, based on what I saw in minicamp and what I am pretty sure I'm going to see in training camp. He's going to get the ball a freaking lot.
One last one before we move on.
Oh, we have beaten this horse.
And I'm going to beat this horse because here we go. Because I come with receipts, and my listeners, especially even my regulars, continue to come and throw shit at me without receipts. And I'm just going to show this out there. No quarterback, rookie left tackle, hurt right tackle, no McCoy, no Ruiz. Let me tell you something, Lance. I love you to death, but I've said this 100 times, and you hear what you want to hear. It was the same exact thing 2 years ago. There was no quarterback 2 years ago. They had a rookie left tackle 2 years ago. McCoy was hurt 2 years ago. Ruiz was still Ruiz 2 years ago. And Alvin Kamara had really good numbers. You want to go look him up? Go look him up. He had really good numbers at the age of 29. At the age of 30, he stunk. It was the same exact situation last year as it was 2 years ago. So don't tell me, make excuses for why he stunk last year. He stunk because he was 30 years old, and he's not going to be any better at 31. And yes, Gabe, I think people do remember that Alvin Kamara blocked me on X. I'm just saying. He doesn't want to hear me anymore. He blocked me on social media. He doesn't want to hear me anymore. I'm just saying. Yeah.
And
there's the
anyone who said, that is the offensive line being worse. The offensive line being worse last year is not an argument that holds up. The offensive line was significantly better. And look,
they were like 31st ranked 2 years ago.
In theory, just in regular growth, you should be significantly better. One of your starters is now a backup, which is significantly better. Blasphemy. That's good. I'm not convinced he wasn't right last year and could have a little bit of a bounce back. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying I'm not. If I had to gauge how right you are, like on a scale of 1 to 10, like there's a good chance you're right, and it was just the age, and maybe it was other factors, and he can still catch lightning in the bottle. I'm sort of 50-50 on that. Although I'm not saying Derry's wrong. He might be right. And he might not produce at all this year. But I still think he might in a small sample. But don't expect more than a small sample. And don't get intoxicated on who he was 5 years ago. Like, still going to go down as my favorite Saints running back to watch.
Should be.
Of all time. Like, I just find him so entertaining as a runner.
I agree.
So silky smooth and
Darren Sproles is up there too.
Balance and all that. That guy is not Alvin Kamara now. Although this Alvin Kamara, I think in a small sample can still help you.
Here's my thing, though. And again, this is me kind of shifting out of this because I do want to ask you your overall thoughts of the Saints before I let you go. And we're getting a little long in the tooth on this show. And I know you got to go this morning. But why do – and not my regulars. My regulars are pretty cool with me. We'll go have a back and forth, and they know that we're cool and we can say things to each other, whatever. But I see so many things on social media that things I'm not even involved. People got so pissed off at Jeff Duncan when he said anything that was even perceived. People that are beloved, like you love Alvin Kamara. So many people love Alvin Kamara. He's beloved in this town. He will always be beloved. But by God, if you say anything, 31 years old, who gives a rat's ass? He's Alvin Kamara. If you say anything that's even perceived as negative, people get so pissed off and they take it personally. Someone has to explain that to me.
Yeah,
I still don't get it.
Yeah, I'm not capable of explaining that. But yeah, look, I mean, Alvin Kamara earned that kind of loyalty. Yeah, you're right. It's kind of a blind loyalty.
It's a business. Doug.
Yeah. And look, from the Saints standpoint, you have to be coldly.
See, I'm not trying to piss anybody off. I'm just telling it the way it is.
You have to be coldly rational about where you are now, not where you were. Look, I mean, they hung up Cam Jordan. At worst, is the second best defensive player in Saints history, and has been. I would argue. He has been the single greatest community influence of any question. He's done thousands of school visits. I tried to do a story.
Yeah, I don't even think that's close.
Visits like 10 years ago, and somebody with the Saints called back and said, "Look, it is a great story, but Cam just doesn't. He just doesn't want anybody there. He just wants to talk to the kids." And I almost liked him more for telling me. Wanted to do it, and the Saints still held up Cam Jordan, didn't run out with a contract to him immediately, or did, but it was a contract that was very team protective. They didn't overpay him despite what he's meant to the city and the organization, and that was the smart move. And eventually they got him back on this heavy incentive-laden contract. The team has to operate different. If people want to love Cam Jordan at a different level, or Alvin Kamara or Demario Davis, and Demario Davis is at a level less just because he didn't have the years that the other two do. Look, let the one guy you can never say a bad word about is Drew Brees. Ever.
Oh, God,
ever. And I get that. Like, these are people who earn this. Like they've been good and fun. I mean, few people have made me laugh in a locker room like Alvin Kamara. They've earned that kind of, they've earned the benefit of the doubt, which is why I'm saying, you know what? You might be right. He might be done at 31. But you know what? This is Alvin Kamara. Let's give him a shot to prove that.
And I'm okay with that. And you know what?
Of course you are. Yes. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. We're not going to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, right? If I end up being the benefit of the doubt,
if I end up being wrong,
you know what? Maybe he's still got a quarter of a tank of gas in that tank. Let's give Kamara the chance to show us one last. Look, Taysom Hill had one last fun game last year. Yeah, one last hurrah. And I would have thought there's no way that man whose knee bent in that direction, at that angle, would ever play again. And he gave us one more fun. Maybe Alvin Kamara's got a couple more just fun hurrahs in him. And he has earned the right to get the benefit of the doubt.
I'm just going to say, if it's funny, because if I end up being wrong, I will tell everybody I'm wrong. They'll make fun of me. It'll be fun. I'll eat crow, po' boy. It is what it is. But if I'm right, they'll hate me. The people will hate. They'll curse me out.
Not everybody.
A lot of people. Jerry, no disrespect. I'm in right now mode. Me too. That's why I keep talking about this. You're in right now mode. So am I. That's what I'm talking about. Right now. I hope you're taking away carries from someone who might be RB2 in the long term. That's a whole.
And I don't think that'll happen. I think if Kamara's not delivering, they'll move on quickly. I don't think Kellen Moore has the kind of blind loyalty to Kamara that if Kamara is not getting it done at 30,
I agree with you.
I don't think that'll be. I mean, it's a great point, but I don't think that'll be a problem. He's not going to get the ball.
I definitely agree with that.
Kamara. If he's not earning it, he's not getting it in this offense because there are too many choices who Kellen Moore personally oversaw bringing in. Travis Etienne is Kellen Moore's guy. He went out and got the guy he wanted for his offense, how he wants to run it, and for what he wants to do. Travis Etienne's getting the ball. And you could say the same thing about Jordan Tyson and Devon Vele. Like, there's a lot of guys on this roster that he earmarked for exactly how he wants to use them. Kamara's going to have to prove it to Kellen Moore. And that's the way it should be.
Great transition, wide receiver position, because last thing I want to talk about before I get your overall thoughts of what's coming, just a general prediction. But the wide receiver position to me, Doug, is it's in the best shape that it's been in quite a few years. I mean, I'm not going to say this is an all, but look, there are actually going to be tough cuts to make at wide receiver. There are going to be some names that you're like, oh, I'm not saying they're going to cut Mason Tipton, but they cut a Mason Tipton, or they cut a Bub Means who looked like he had a good shot. I think he's definitely cut. But you go down the line and some of these guys that are going to end up getting cut, I think there's going to be this wide receiver position, assuming Jordan Tyson is not quoting bubble wrap. We'll talk more about that with Mike Detillier next week. But I think that they're in as good a spot as they've been in quite a while.
Oh, I think 100%. Look, when we did, we'll do 1 4th down on 4 before the season starts, and I'll do it on the touchscreen where I'll get everybody's opinions at the start of training camp. It's one of my favorite ones to do for a lot of reasons. One, because we'll record it on Wednesday, and it's one of the few Sundays in the year because the show will be done that we can all take off. Like we look for a couple opportunities a year.
Right.
We all work 52 Sundays a year. So it's one of the few Sundays we can take off. So, and last year, because I'm looking at the touchscreen, biggest weakness, I said the wide receiver position. The wide receiver position, because it was a complete lack of depth and a complete lack of talent beyond Chris Olave. They hadn't even traded for Vele yet at this point last year. They hadn't even traded. They hadn't. There were so many things they hadn't done yet at this time last year. This position, and that's what I found myself watching more than anything in the minicamp, was just this bevy of wide receivers.
Right.
And Jordan Tyson, they didn't let him do anything, right? And it was so funny because they're running, except literal walkthrough, which they do at the end of practice. They would walk through a little bit. And everybody else in walkthrough, this is walkthrough. Everybody else is going at about 20% speed. And Jordan Tyson was like, couldn't wait to get on the field so much. And he could have practiced. The Saints, my guess is, didn't see any reason and told him, well, you're not practicing. So they didn't let him. So in walkthrough, he is running at like 70% speed and like juking guys and doing things. I couldn't see it but I'm guessing the DBs were like laughing. Like, what is this guy doing? He couldn't wait. I love the way he moved. He's going to be so much fun to watch.
He's definitely an emotional dude.
Hey, oh my God, you can see it. And like Jalen Polk became one of my favorite guys.
Froze up a little bit.
The Saints ran a whole bunch of like every day they're running this bubble screen action for him. Like, I think he's going to have like a role, not a big role, but I think he's going to have a role. And Bryce Lance, the 4th round draft pick,
can't wait to see what he's got.
He got a disproportionate number of balls. Like if like every 10 passes, if 10 different receivers should get 1 each, somehow he was getting 3 of those. Like, I'm not even sure whose passes he was catching, but in everything they ran, 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s. Oh, look, Bryce Lance just caught another one. Nothing spectacular.
I think that's my favorite pick out of all of them.
Nothing that wowed you, but it's just this dude is getting the ball too much. And it wasn't even stuff like run for him. It's just the ball just found him more than anybody else. And how they use him. And the two, Polk and Lance, are at best your 4 and 5. Exactly. And I like those guys.
Exactly.
And the 3, look, Devon Vele's got a catch radius that is elite. The guy is long. The guy looks like a basketball player in real life. I mean, he is long with long. I mean, he's all over the place. I love Tyson. Look, Chris Olave showed what he can do when he gets some help around him, and he has a quarterback that can throw all the routes and an offensive line to protect the quarterback a little bit. I am super excited about the wide receiver room. Look, the way you can work your practice squad now is that you can have veterans on the practice squad and they make a fair salary. Other teams can poach them from you. But I think this is the best wide receiver room we've seen from the Saints, certainly since the end of the Sean Payton era. And even the end of the Sean Payton era, it wasn't great. It's the best wide receiver room we've seen in at least 7 or 8 years. I mean, I'm talking about the depth and the potential and the youth and the upside and all of those things. Look, the Saints couldn't upgrade everything in year one. And I know people love crapping on Mickey Loomis, but Mickey Loomis did a great job last year of getting them as many. He's
done a really good job for 3 years in a row.
As you could in 1 year. Right. He got them as many pieces as you could in 1 year, but they still had a lot more to do. And the one thing I said on that show, I said, wait till next offseason. That's when they're going to go hunting for weapons, which is exactly what they did. I'm not right a lot, but I was 100% right about that. This offseason has been all about rebuilding weapons, and that's from Achane to the tight ends to the wide receivers. And I look at it now and say it looks like they did a really nice job of that. They still have holes on this team. They got cornerback as a major concern. They did not add along the pass rushing. You hope Chase Young can keep it going, but they didn't add to it. So there are still concerns. They still haven't been able to fix everything. But the one thing it looks like they fixed was the weaponry. And the wide receivers right now are just fun to watch.
Yeah, I think their points per game, I think it's going to go up dramatically. I think you're talking about, now it was so low last year. I think it was in the neighborhood of 20 points a game or whatever. I could easily see this team scoring 24 points a game. I think go up by 4 points per game. I mean, I know that's a major shift, but I'm excited to look, keep number 6 upright, keep him healthy, and keep your running back healthy. And again, like you say, all these weapons around. And Hart says, Olave, Tyson, Vele, Lance, all locks. I think you got to throw in Polk in there. Polk's going to be one of their guys. To me, those 5 guys are locks. Are you going to keep 6 receivers?
Yeah,
I don't know if you can. But
you definitely. I think they will.
Well, you're going to keep three tight ends. So you keep 6 receivers and 3 tight ends. That's 9 spots in your roster.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then that may wind up being 10. And I'm not kidding, because at running back you could keep a couple of those guys, like an Estimate type. You could keep him on the practice squad a couple of weeks.
Yeah, probably.
There's ways to maneuver where, look, I don't think that the talent. I don't think they're giving it up. I think they're going to try to keep as much of it as they can, and they invested in this for a reason. There's a lot of guys. You mentioned Bub Means. When we were at minicamp, I said, and I used to like when they did cuts like in 3 waves, because I used to go to people at training camp and say, all right, give me 3 guys.
Cut down to 80.
The first 9 cuts. The guy, and you could be looking on your roster for like a guy you haven't even
heard of, right?
In 12 practices, right? And to me, Bub Means is not only not making the team, but he's in the first group of cuts.
Yeah.
Because the position is so much better. And
he says
that's so much fun. That's what's fun to watch. We're watching football to see people score points. And look, to your point, I don't think a drastic jump in offensive production is unheard of or would be surprising. If you just look at what happened last year, the first half of the year, the game in Chicago being the fulcrum of this is just horrible. The offense was just terrible. And yes, the change of quarterback obviously made a big difference, but it was also, I think, it was Kellen Moore figuring out what he had and how to use it. And it just got better in the second half of the season. Excuse me. I don't think it's unheard of to think the progress you made in the second half of the season, there's no reason to think that can't continue into the first half of this season. There's no guarantee it will, but it's not crazy to think, we can build on what we showed.
Yeah. Adams says Varian Brown should be a lock. I mean, he's going to be on the team.
I don't even count him as a wide receiver.
No, exactly. And that's my point. He's not going to be a wide receiver. He's going to be one of the special team players. And
he's still got to win that job. He's got to win.
Agree.
He
could be a practice squad
job. But for now, he's the favorite. But he does not make the team as a wide receiver. No. And I don't ever see him playing. I take that back. They could design something for him, but I don't.
I think eventually he could be a
role as a wide receiver.
Yeah,
not this year. I mean, I mean, there's too many options that are more polished and better receivers than him. There may not be a better return man. If he's the best return man, then he's on the roster. At worst, he's on your practice squad.
Yeah. He'll be on it some sort of way in the practice squad. All right, your overall thoughts about the team, and I got some numbers on here. They haven't changed much as of late. The win total, the over under 7.5, which means that odds makers think the Saints going to win 8 games. It's leaning towards the over. NFC South champ, plus 265, which means they're 2.65 to 1.
And they're second in the division, right?
Second in the division right now. What are your thoughts on obviously we still got a month and some change before we start actually making predictions, but what are your thoughts on what could possibly be numbers?
I don't think the 7.5 is going to move, but I have already bet the over on the 7.5. Like I already put some money on the over on 7.5 because to win 8 still means they have a losing record. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think they're a 500 team and they could have a losing record. I think they're a 500 team with upside is what I would say. I think they're a 500 team. I see a worst case scenario. I guess a worst case scenario would be 7 wins. And if you lose Chase Young, that defense is in trouble, right?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. So I think 7 wins is possible, but I think 8 wins is much more possible than 7. And I think 9 is absolutely possible. And with upside of everything goes right of 10, like to me, the fulcrum point should be at about 8.5, not 7.5. So I bet the over. And so I like that. Do I like them to go to the playoffs? I like them to have a legitimate shot at the playoffs with even a month to go in the season or less. I don't know yet if I'm going to call them a playoff team. But I do think they're borderline. And I do think beyond that, now, like that sounds negative because there's so many Saints fans who like are getting Super Bowl antsy. But I do think they are 100% on the right path. I just don't know if they're there yet.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're not. Like they still have some areas they need to shore up. I love what they did last year. I love what they've done this year. I love the quarterback and his upside going forward, which is why I think that 7.5 could move. Like at some point, the national media might catch on that they like Tyler Shuck, and I can see like word of like that's spreading. But I don't think they've shored up everything. I still think they have some holes, and I still think next year is the year that I'm really going to be excited. But I think this year is going to be a super freaking fun football.
I think it's going to be fun. I do.
It's going to be much more competitive. The offense is going to be much more fun to watch. And I think they're going to win some games. The 2 at the top are going to bring people back to earth. But I think this team can catch a roll. And even if it is 7 wins, and I see
it'll still be fun.
It's going to be okay. And I still think it's going to be fun. Like if they get some injuries and they win 7. But I think 8 is much more my starting point. And my starting point is at 8.5. And I think that's, to me, where the fulcrum point should be. They were bad enough last year where nationally they haven't caught on to that, which is why I bet it already. Because I think they're being undervalued, not by a ton, but by a little bit at 7.5. Do you think I'm crazy?
No, I don't think you're crazy. I don't necessarily agree. It's not something I'm running a window to do, but we still got time. I usually talk on 4th down right before the season starts or whatever. I just think that when you're talking about, I think the first 2 games are almost certainly going to be a loss. I mean, again, they could win one of them. Maybe they win, maybe they don't. But if you talk about right off the bat, you're losing 2. To go 7 and 8 the rest of the way when you got a stretch of at Cincinnati, at Chicago in there, and you got 4 out of 5, a stretch of 4 out of 5 on the road. You got to go to France. Again, I agree with all the stuff about I think this year is going to be way more fun, even if they only win 7 games. Yeah. It doesn't. I think it's going to be obvious that they're better, obvious that they're going in the right direction. I've said this many times too, that I think they're going to be probably in a lot of close game situations where you might lose some of those. But to me, you've seen teams, Doug, that play 10 or 11 one-score games and they lose like 7 of those. And then the next year that flips. Right. And the next year they win those games that they were tied in because they learn as a team. And as this team transitions from old to young and tries to get some more experience and surround Shuck, and then next year you can go and Maybe get yourself another offensive lineman. Maybe get yourself one or two more defensive backs, and then you're a more complete team.
100%.
And so I just think that 2027 to me is the year that I'm looking forward to. And as far as these numbers go, I think they're right on the nose. I think they're kind of a 7 or 8 win kind of team to me. Because again, if you lose those first two, you got 15 left. You'd have to go 8 and 7 the rest of the way to go. And I think that's a legitimate possibility. If you went 7 and 8, that's also a legitimate possibility. So I think, look, all you people saying they're going to win 10 and all that, that's great. Maybe they will. They have a chance to. It's possible. I'm not going to say there's 0.0, but I just think that the schedule's a little bit different this year, and I still think they're a team, and they're turning the corner. It's no longer there's no hope going into a year like last year. There was no hope. I mean, if they were on with the over-under, I think it was 4.5 or whatever. And so this year it's much more hope, and I'm much more excited about what we're going to see. And I agree with you that even if the wins aren't there, they're going to be a much more fun team to watch.
Yeah, no doubt. And to me, like one of the questions I ask in that preseason show is who's the most indispensable Saint? And in the Drew Brees days, you throw out the quarterback.
Right.
And frequently throw out the quarterback anyway, because that's
exactly.
But if I said most indispensable Saint, yeah, it's still probably the quarterback, but I'm telling you, the most indispensable Saint is Chase Young. If the way defense works is if Chase Young is wreaking havoc. If he's for this defense to be what they need it to be to win 10 games, he's got to have 15 sacks. He's got to open up the door. Chase Young's greatest accomplishment last year was Cam Jordan getting 10 sacks.
Right.
Because every overplay, every double team, every chip goes to Chase Young. He occupies every bit of gravity for the Saints defense. Everything sucks to him. And Cam Jordan proved that in a one-on-one situation, he can still get it done, right? He got 10.5 sacks because he was never getting more than a one-on-one. Because whatever there is, Chase Young's getting it. And that havoc means the DBs have 1/4 of a tick less they have to cover because he's wreaking havoc. He is, without question, the most meaningful player. I would argue that the drop-off after Chase Young would be worse. I don't want to have this argument with you. Would be worse than the drop-off if you lost Tyler Shuck this year.
Oh, God, yeah. Let's don't do
long
that.
term. But I would argue right now, Chase Young is certainly the second most important player on this team, without question, having him on the field, because you saw the difference in that defense after he missed those early games, and when he came back, his defense was top 10 with him. He's got to play like he's in the defensive MVP voting for this team to win the division and win 10 games. He's got to.
Don't disagree with that.
For defensive MVP. And I will say this, that's possible. Chase Young is that good. That's one of the other takeaways from watching practice. And the first time I covered hockey, I don't even know the rules of hockey, right? When I went to Pensacola, they had a minor league team, and I'm covering hockey. But the first game I watched, I went, I don't know who that guy is. And I don't know anything about hockey, but that guy's the best player on the ice. Sure enough, that guy wound up going to the NHL, the only player that had ever done that. Sometimes in sports, you could just watch, not even understand the sport, and say, oh my God, that guy is unreal. You show up at a training camp practice, and if you watch the whole field, your one takeaway will be, oh my God, that Chase Young 99 is crazy. That guy is, he's a man among the best athletes in the world. And so it's possible that he could be it. He was on my Heisman Trophy ballot. He was that good at Ohio State. I think, and I voted for the Heisman Trophy for a while, it was Joe Burrow's year. And no, he was third on my ballot, but in a Heisman Trophy ballot, you get a 1, 2, 3. And he was third on my ballot, but he was on my Heisman Trophy ballot. He was that good at Ohio State. And he can be that good. And he was. Look what he did in that Tennessee game. It was bananas.
Finished fourth, by the way. He finished fourth.
Yeah, finished fourth. He was my third place. Yeah.
Behind the top three were Burrow, Hurts, and Fields.
Yes. And I think my vote was Burrow, Hurts, and Chase Young was my third. And Burrow, that was like easiest
Burrow? He's a bum.
In the history of the Heisman was the Joe Burrow vote. That was like a silly vote. It was really trying to figure out who's your 3, or who's your 2 and 3. But anyway, so all that's possible, but keeping Chase Young upright is the most important thing.
That's a great point, and maybe we'll have a show on that question. Who's the most indispensable?
I love that. Most indispensable, not the best player, but who you cannot afford to lose, because
and you got to throw out the quarterback, because if they lose Chuck, if they don't have Chuck, they're a 4-win. But
like positions that get better, like you could say Chris Olave was more that guy last year than he is this year, because this year you're more confident in the guys behind him. So it's not just about the guy, it's about who's coming after that guy. The Saints did not upgrade their pass rush. Like a lot of us thought they were going to go get Reuben Bain or somebody in free agency. They didn't. They're running the same guys back from a pass rush standpoint. I know they got Tyree Wilson, but you can't count on guys like that, guys who haven't done it in any kind of consistent basis. They didn't spend a lot of capital to upgrade that. Chase Young, to me, anybody saying anybody other than Chase Young at number 2 is just wrong.
Oh, wow. Well, then.
No. I don't have a lot of hard opinions, but there's no way you can make a case for somebody like Chase Young.
You're just wrong. I like what you're
just wrong.
You're starting to sound. Am I rubbing off on you? You started.
And you didn't watch the Saints last year and what he did and the difference he made. The way I describe it is what Reggie Bush did for those early Sean Payton teams, where every single play on offense, everyone watched Reggie Bush, and he took every bit of gravity from the defense. And then, so even on plays when he wasn't getting the ball and you were throwing to Marcus Colston, it was because everybody was watching Reggie Bush, or at least that played a role in every play. Chase Young plays a role in every play because of how he occupies the offense's attention. And whoever replaces him would draw none. Then all of a sudden, all that extra attention is going to everybody else.
Right. Huh? All right.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we have Dattitude on the show. Doug brings it, man.
I'm trying.
I started off this show fired up. You're leaving this show fired up.
Because I got a date.
I know we are.
Rocky and Carlos, and I got to get over there.
That's way more. Rocky and Carlos. Where's my meatball po' boy?
I go different every time because it's freaking awesome.
Well, I've been on a strict diet for 2 weeks, so enjoy one from me. It stinks. I'll have to think about it. Yeah. We will talk to you before the season starts, our friend. We got to get you on at least one more time before the season starts.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Jim.
All right, Doug. See you later. Doug Mouton, everybody. There's some things going on. I'm loving reading these comments while I'm talking to Doug. Some of these comments y'all are funny. By the way, before I get to the comments, some of y'all have been talking about it in the background. Ian Rappaport is reporting. Now it's by someone that I respect. It was not until just recently, but someone I respect has now said it. Ian Rappaport reporting that the Saints and Alvin Kamara have agreed to the terms of the new deal. What is the new deal, Jim Derry? Base salary of $6 million in the 2026 season with a chance for incentives to turn that $6 million into $8.5 million. That is a Rappaport says, quote, a win-win that almost certainly means Kamara will finish his career with New Orleans. If you say so. Even my phone was beeping on that one. That was my watch, actually. Whatever. You know what I mean. So, $6 million with incentives. I need to see what the incentives are. But, one thing I will say is, Doug kind of touched on something there towards the end. Cam Jordan, we thought he was done. I thought he was done, right? Hey, I can admit when I'm wrong, okay? I can eat a crow po' boy on the air. I'll be fine with it. I'm okay if I'm wrong. It's better for everybody if I'm wrong about this. So go out there and earn your incentives. But do what Cam Jordan did last year. Come out of nowhere. Look like the old man. You're done, old man. What are you still doing here? And then come out of nowhere and play 45%. Well, I mean, Kamara's not going to play 45% of the snaps. But you know what I mean. Go out and hit those incentives. Charles, not that I didn't acknowledge it. I don't report any. You will learn this. If you haven't learned this already, you will learn this. I don't report I don't talk about rumors on this show. When someone I respect or someone I know that is right reports it, then I'll report it. I'm not saying Joe Blow from ABC podcast said such and such. Okay. That's I wasn't ignoring you. I saw it. Just saying. Scott Claymore says I'm going to be wrong about Polk too. I'm not really. I mean, about Polk, I think he's going to make the team. Do you think that Jalen Polk is going to be this stud receiver? Because I don't think. I mean, if he could be a stud receiver, then sure. I mean, then I would be wrong about that because I don't think he's going to be a stud receiver. Did I change my mind about Polk? I think Polk's probably going to make the team. When have I said Polk is not going to make the team? I don't think he's going to be some superstar. I think he's going to be like a WR4. Big whoop. In fact, maybe 5. Vele's 4 probably, right? Okay, let's see. I don't know. Depends on where Lance is. It wasn't a report. Rappaport reported. You didn't spell it. Report. I did not see that, Charles. And Rappaport doesn't work for Bleacher Report. And Bleacher Report to me isn't good enough to report it. If I see something on Bleacher Report, I'm not reporting it. It has to be a Rappaport, a Schefter, one of our NOLA.com guys. I would write it. If Nick wrote it, I would believe it. If a player out there, like we talked about Teron Armstead this morning, is reporting all this, well, he knows Alvin Kamara. He's not going to go out there and say something that isn't true. So I'm just not going to. I just don't go out there and say stuff that's on Bleacher Report or some other. Okay, sorry. I get you. Yeah, UBN. If UBN said it, for sure. Anyway. We told you earlier as we move on here this morning, we will let you know more about how Evangeline Securities can help you figure out what your family run a privately held business might be worth and whether it's time to sell. Well, how do they do it? That's the best question today. Better than the poll question. After their complimentary valuation of your company, if you decide to proceed, Native New Orleanian Nick Braden and the folks at Evangeline, they'll begin an extensive auction process from established private equity funds from around the whole wide world. They'll maximize the return for the founder and his or her family. Evangeline Securities, top producer on their platform. Very few companies like them in this area, and 0.000 with their dedication and success. Nobody. They're fully licensed. They're ready to serve you. So get in touch with Nick Braden about what's really important. And it's not who reported it first, when I reported that he got $6 million, who said he got $6 million first. No, none of that's important. You know what's really important? The rest of your life. You can find them at www.evangelinesecurities.com. I just realized that the rest of your life kind of sounds like Dot's Diner after she smoked like 5 packs of cigarettes. You know, when my generation's gone, here's a way off topic for the day. You New Orleanians out there, or New Orleanians. When my generation's gone, when our generation is gone, the yats are gone. I know some of you aren't sad about it. It makes me sad that the yats are going to be gone, Hart. Kind of hurt. Dot's Diners. Dot's Diners. I mean, Hart misses some Dots. I know. Well, you got to come home and get you some Dots Diners shipped. That probably wouldn't be very good. You know what I'm saying? It's like Vic and Natalie. Like you smoked 6 packs of cigarettes and you went out and put your clothes on the wash line. Get some mayonnaise for your sandwich. Get some Ersta Po' Boy. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, free plug to Dot's Diner out there, by the way. All right. Anyway, so look, y'all love when I'm wrong. Maybe I will be. Hope I am. I hope Alvin Kamara gets $8.5 million because he earned every single incentive. Let's show the poll question. Wash your hands in the zinc. Absolutely, Josh. Let's show it for the last time before we close it out. If you haven't voted already, now's your chance to vote, even if you're new here. By the way, if you're new here or what, if you're not, if you haven't given us the thumbs up, if you haven't given us the like, please do so. Please give us a like, a thumbs up. You give us a like, you give us a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm. Please do so. If you haven't voted already, here's your chance to do so now. It's your last chance to do so. How will Alvin Kamara work out as an RB2? Type in the number 1. If you say Alvin Kamara is going to work at, speaking of Dots Diner, I don't even know if they have this. I mean, they don't have my mama's gumbo at Dots Diner, but do they even have gumbo? I don't know. But anyway, I digress again. Type in the number 1. If you think Alvin Kamara is going to work out as an RB2, like my mama's gumbo, perfect. Type if you think it's going to work out. Number 2. Type in the number 2. Just the number 2, not pound 2, not NO2. Just the number 2. If you think it's going to have a few hiccups, but by week 4, nobody's going to be talking about this crap anymore. Type in the number 3 if your answer is, I'm like Derry. I still ain't sold. We shall see. And type in the number 4 if you're like, you know what? I don't get it. This is dumb. It ain't going to work. Do whatever you want. Sign Alvin Kamara. Give him whatever you want. It's just not going to work. I don't know why we're doing this. Type in the number 4 if that's your answer. All right. We got a lot of this. Gabe says Dots Diner does not have gumbo. Houstonian looking up the Dots Diner menu. That's something you don't see every day. You want to talk about stuff you don't see that every day. Just saying. One thing Kamara can't do is block. Yeah. Poll is closed. Final results. A lot of votes today. Good job, guys. I knew we'd have more people interested today. Duh. How will Alvin Kamara work out as an RB2? 32% of you said like my mama's gumbo. It's perfect. What about my gumbo? Like Mouton. I have pretty good gumbo. Now, I haven't cooked one in a while because I only cook it when it's nice outside. So it's been, I don't know. I don't think I've cooked one since like January, February. Got some in the freezer over here next to my crow po' boy. 32% of you said like my mama's gumbo. 32% also said a few hiccups. But Derry, you're going to be wrong. And by week 4, you ain't talking about this crap anymore. 27% of you said, I ain't sold. We shall see. And 9% of you said, this is dumb. It ain't going to work. What the hell are you talking about? That's today's poll. So, anyway. Thank you for all the votes. Thank you for all the Dots Diner talk. And you got to wash your hands in the zinc. Maybe it's time to have on the Red Bean. We haven't had Devin Snow was on like 501, maybe. Episode right on, either right before 500 or right after. So I didn't been that long. Lance says he doesn't think I want a reheated crow po' boy. Let me just tell you something, Lance. Crow po' boy sucks whether it's been in the freezer or whether it's fresh. It ain't good. Trust me. Yeah, it ain't good. Doesn't matter. Whether I gotta eat it cold, frozen, 2 years old in the freezer. Somebody just killed a crow, sliced it up, defeathered it. Doesn't matter. It's not good. You know what is good? Gabe's good. All right, Gabe. You ever had Dots Diner before?
I've not. No.
That's a treat.
But I did. You asked the question whether or not they had gumbo. I had to look it up for you.
Wow. I mean,
They do serve liver and onions, though.
Lance wants to know, do you get crow fajitas? Why were you stirring a pot back there telling people the Saints going to go one?
Because people just say shit. People just say shit. And so I just said shit.
Okay.
Exactly. If other people could say shit, I could say shit. Right. I just baseless stuff like Saints Super Bowl 17-0. Like, do you know how many times the Saints have won 17 or even let's just say 15 games in the regular season in their entire history?
Well, never, but they've
Never.
had. I mean, they've always had
shit, people.
Yeah, I don't know that they really believe that. I think they're being like, you don't know who Abdul the tent maker is, but I think they're just being a little Abdul tent maker-ish. Oh, by the way, Kyle Sherman saying his answer is 5, all of the above.
Yeah,
he
wanted all of the above.
He wanted to add it. Can you have an all of the above? Can they be perfect? And I don't think this is going to work all at the same time.
No,
I don't know. Hart says the Saints are going to go 17-0 and the Pels are going 82-0.
Hart gets it.
Mark says Spencer Rattler jerseys is 70% off at Oakwood Mall this week. Well, that just goes to show that you paid 70% too much because I'm sure that you bought one when they first came out, Mark. UBN says Abdul used to make his shirts. Aaron says he'd rather eat a crow fajita than liver and onions. I don't know, Aaron. Were you on here when I had to go on for about an hour and a half one Saturday morning when Derek Carr retired? That was tough shit, man. That was not easy. What you got for me on this Thursday morning as we're running along? It's kind of felt like old times this morning. This show was fun.
So I wanted to get your thoughts on speaking of Bleacher Report from earlier. They released this morning, or maybe it was yesterday. Regardless, they released a list of the Mount Rushmore of athletes since 2000 for each major city. And I wanted to get your thoughts on New Orleans.
Athletes what? Say that again.
It's the Mount Rushmore of the top 4 athletes from each major sports city since 2000. Do you want to take a crack at New Orleans? Do you want to?
So like it could be someone that never played for a New Orleans team, but they're from New Orleans. And
no. Other way around. They played in New Orleans.
Oh, okay. Oh shit. I mean, gotta all be Saints. I mean,
they're not. Oh
no,
Saints, actually.
I guess they're all Saints.
I will give you two of them are Saints.
All right, is one of them Pete Maravich?
It's since 2000.
Oh, since 2000. I thought you meant ever.
So no, Pete Maravich is not on there.
Well, who the hell would be like? Chris Paul.
Chris Paul is on there. I'm amazed that's the first one you got.
That's stupid.
The 2 Saints are easy. You should be able to knock those out.
Drew Brees and Cam Jordan.
Big deal. You're down to one more. And I have a feeling this is going to be an unpopular decision with a lot of people.
Who put this together, by the way?
Bleacher Report. I can give you the author's name.
So this is why, and here's a perfect reason why we don't use Bleacher Report for anything. This is Chris Paul.
Reuter.
It would be, if you're doing it since 2000, there are no Pelicans or Hornets on this list. It would just be Saints. Period. Ray Sun says, all right, you're trying to get Ray Sun. You're trying to get people to get off the show and go listen to Sirius XM because they're doing a deep dive about the Saints right now. Okay, we'll be done shortly. Josh says Kamara's on it.
Kamara's not on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
He's not on it.
So we got Drew Brees, we got Cam Jordan, we got Chris Paul, and you said the other one is not a Saint, right?
Yeah, the other one is not a Saint.
If you say Anthony Davis, I'm going to punch this screen.
Protect the screen. It's Anthony Davis.
You've got to be shitting me. That is the dumb. All right, that I've just banned Bleacher Report from my computer. That's absurd. That's absurd. Alvin Kamara over Anthony Davis. That's ridiculous. I mean, Josh and I have not agreed today, but I agree on that one. Come on. Since 2000, Alvin Kamara is more important, not more important to the city than Anthony.
Let's see.
Unibrow, dumbass, my foot hurts Davis. Shut up.
Yeah, he doesn't even give a reasoning. So he says, he runs through stats. Davis averaged blah, blah, blah points, rebounds, and blocks over his 7 seasons. 6-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA selection, stands as the franchise's leader in points, rebounds, and blocks. Okay.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Well,
let's not talk
Chris
about
Paul,
his
you can at least
how.
Yeah, at least Chris Paul, you could make. I wouldn't. It's 4 Saints. I don't care what 4 Saints you want to put on there. It's 4 Saints. But at least Chris Paul, I'm like, okay, you're trying to not have 4 Saints. Chris Paul, sure.
Yeah, there are very few places Charlotte has 4 Panthers. But I was just looking through, very few cities actually have 4 athletes from the same team. So Like not even Kansas City doesn't even have 4 Chiefs.
Willie Rowe's not from the 2000s. He was
Salvador.
Yeah, so this is since 2000. Willie Rowe
Indianapolis
was either
doesn't
gone
even
or
have,
almost done by then.
Indianapolis has a fever player on here as opposed to 4 Colts.
Oh God, give me a break.
It's got to be 4 Colts, and if you're not, you got to put
Willie Rowe
like
was still playing in 2000, but he left the Saints. He played in 2016 games and only 7 in 2001, and then he went to Kansas City. So, Willie Rowe.
I'd be intrigued to go through this list.
Yeah, it was 1 year, then, Josh.
I'd be intrigued to go through this list and see which city has the best Mount Rushmore. It's probably got to be Los Angeles or New York.
Hart says
based on sheer volume.
Hart would put Ray Nagin on there before AD. All right, that's the comment of the day, sir. That is this.
Credit where it's due. Hart's been popping off with some of his comments.
That's pretty good.
Very good.
All right.
LA's Mount Rushmore: Kobe Bryant, Clayton Kershaw, Aaron Donald, and Shohei Ohtani.
All right. I mean, LA. That's a good one. I mean, I can't argue with that. But what's like Philly?
I'm almost there. I will give you Phillies.
New York.
New York, by the way, is Derek Jeter, Eli Manning, Mariano Rivera, and Jalen Brunson. I don't know.
Jalen Brunson just because
should be on. Well, Jalen Brunson. Yeah, I mean, I guess Jalen Brunson and Eli Manning delivered him titles.
I mean, Eli gave him 2.
Okay. Philadelphia. Yeah, he did. Philadelphia, Allen Iverson, Brian Dawkins, Chase Utley, and Jason Kelsey.
Allen Iverson. Say that again. Allen Iverson definitely belongs in there. Who else?
Allen Iverson, Brian Dawkins, Chase Utley, and Jason Kelsey.
Brian Dawkins?
Hmm?
I don't know. Brian Dawkins, Kelsey, and who else? There's no Philly on there?
Chase Utley.
Oh, Chase Utley was on there. Okay.
Chase Utley should undeniably be on there.
Okay. All right. All right. Josh wants to know, what about Chicago? That's a good one to answer.
Chicago's wasn't as great as you would think.
It's Michael Jordan's not going to be on there because he wasn't playing anymore.
It's Brian Urlacher, Derrick Rose, Anthony Rizzo, and Jonathan Toews.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Would you say Rizzo is the best Cub to be
since 2000? He's the icon. He's the Cub icon since 2000. Yeah.
Okay.
And they won the World Series. You got to pick someone from that team, and he was the icon. You can't pick Chris Bryant because he ended up leaving and whatever.
And he ended up stinking.
Yeah. So I think it's Rizzo, probably.
Okay, that's fair. Really interesting. Really interesting.
All right, what's Bast? Josh wants to know while we're on it. What about Baston? He's got Brady, Ortiz, Pierce.
I believe that's it. I believe that's spot on. Scrolling back up to it right now.
Are you cheating, Josh, or are you just guessing?
No, Boston's pretty easy. Yeah, it's Brady, Ortiz, Bergeron, and Pierce.
Okay. No, UBN Star is not on.
Castro. I don't even. Starlin Castro's not even.
There you go, Abby. We just read it for you. Yeah, pretty good list.
It'd be really interesting when we have a show where we have nothing to talk about. Maybe we could revisit this.
Well, we only got a couple more because camp's about to start. I mean,
maybe we have the
go coming up. Well, Monday coming up, we got we're going to have an interesting show because if you noticed, Monday shows have been shorter because I'm trying to get going with work and get my week started. So Mondays have been a little bit shorter. Monday, we're going to continue our list of top 15 most important Saints. I should just say 15 most important Saints. I think we got numbers 6, 5, and 4 are coming up on Monday. But we're also going to have Jim Rapier on, who is my favorite Saints historian. Nobody knows more useless Saints trivia than Jim Rapier. He is coming on the show on Monday, and I'm going to give him a minimum of 10 questions. Jim can answer, and everybody else can answer out there as well. We're going to have fun with it. It's going to be Trivia Monday. And I'm going to try to have him on twice before the season starts. But he
Josh
is also
here and be seated. I actually believe, for what it's worth, I believe Josh could probably give Jim a run for his money. Josh is credit where it's due. don't believe he's using Google because he's gotten.
Yeah, I agree. At first I thought he was, but I agree. Josh knows a lot of stuff out there. UEN says Jim Rapier is his favorite person named Jim.
Lance, you are incorrect.
You are my favorite person named asshole. Just saying. Cal, really? Are you jumping on the bandwagon? What's going on back there? Jumping on the bandwagon back there? They did read Boston.
Boston. And Lance commented this for he's actually wrong.
Harden, Andre Johnson, Bagwell. Well, you can only have 4.
So you can only have 4.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna guess. Let me guess that. I mean, you really want to put Harden
Houston's?
on there? Yeah, I'm gonna guess Houston's. All right.
Okay. Go for it.
Bagwell, Biggio. I'm trying to think. That might be more 90s, I guess. One of those guys. At least one of those has to be on there, right?
Nope. Neither.
Really? Okay, maybe they're too much 90s, I guess.
They are too much 90s. I mean, they made the 05 World Series, but
okay. How about Andre Johnson, is he on there? That's a good guess.
Yeah, Andre Johnson's on there.
Okay, so that he'd have to be on there. Is Harden? I mean, Harden's kind of a dick.
Yep, James Harden's on there.
Okay, he's on there. Okay. Josh says Yao Ming?
Yao Ming was no.
Altuve's got to be on there though.
Altuve is on there.
Okay, so that's 3. The other ones. Can you have
the other one's really obvious. He's a future Hall of Famer.
Oh, and I'm just missing it.
A lot of people are missing him. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably the best athlete to ever play for a Houston team.
Is it correct? It's not correct, is it?
No, it's not even baseball.
I don't know. Who is it?
It's JJ Watt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Y'all got it. Good for you. Whoop-de-doo. Y'all.
Which I think, for what it's worth, I think they nailed the Houston one. And I think if you expanded it to all time, I would probably have only one change, and I would take Harden out and put Hakeem Olajuwon in.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think they nailed it. Andre Johnson.
Well, I mean, but Hakeem Olajuwon was more 90s too, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, no, that's why I'm saying if you expanded it all time.
I gotcha.
Oh, so if you took every athlete to ever play in Houston, I think Watt, Johnson,
what about
Altuve, and
the are all on there. The University of Houston quarterback, Andre. Before
Andre Ware.
Andre Ware, yeah.
I like Andre Ware. I wouldn't put him on there, but I like Andre.
Mark wants to know when we're going to get Mayo on the show again. Might be a little bit. I mean, I might try to get him on before the season starts. He was on not that long ago. Yeah, I know. I don't forget what.
I don't think, Josh, you understand how many games Yao Ming missed when he was hurt. He missed a lot of time with injury. He was very good. I would put Tracy McGrady over Yao Ming, actually.
T-Mac.
Yeah, I would put T-Mac on there. Yeah, and Lance is right. Hakeem is undeniably the best Rocket ever. So
yeah,
I put him on there.
All right. Well, hey, that was a good little segment there.
Fun little segment.
Stop pissing people off in the background now. Not any more 1-16 crap.
Never. Well, statistically, it is more likely they go 1-16 than 16-1. They have never gone 16-1.
I mean,
they have gone 1-15.
All right.
Once.
Yeah, I know. I remember it well. They were 0-14 in that year. They were 0-13 when they went to play San Francisco and were leading 35-0 at halftime and lost. That is not a misclimb.
Hey, my sports teams do the same thing. So
yeah. So anyway,
I understand.
35-7. I'm sorry, I was thinking it was 35-7. Anyway, all right. I will see you on Monday. Have something good like that again. You got to go dig in the bowels of sports social media to find stuff like that.
Like I said, we gotta have a show one of these next few weeks when we have nothing to talk about. We can sit here and compare, and maybe we'll just make like I'll read them to you. We'll say, is this team better than this team? And we'll see. I think there's 33 overall. So we'll see.
All right. Before people depart, by the way, give us the thumbs up. Give us the like. You know. All right. See you Monday, Gabe.
All righty. Sounds good.
All right. That is going to just about wrap it up. Yep. Great show. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you. Oh, some of y'all still talking about the list. UBN says his favorite team was 1980. You weren't even, you were like an infant. Your dad was cursing at this. You were probably laughing at your dad as like a 6-month-old in the crib when they were losing games. That's Callie. I'm still not happy that you're agreeing with Jim that, come on, man. Great show. Thank you, Lance. Thanks to everybody out there, regulars, everybody who, and we had a nice show today. Today, it did feel like old times. I'm not going to do a lot of whole 2-hour shows anymore. Just not. Except on Sunday, on the pregame shows, we might do 2-hour shows on Sunday morning during football season. Who knows how long those shows will go. We're going to have fun with them. But just in general, I was already trying to cut the shows down. 2 hours too long. Now, today, it just kind of flowed and it happened, and we'll have some of those every now and then. But 2 hours is a long time for a podcast. But, hey, y'all stuck around. And it kind of felt like old times. I felt good about today. I had a lot of fun. I want to thank today's guests, Doug Mouton, Gabe Henderson, and you. But you're more than just a guest. We hope you can make the show again next Monday. Monday, July the 20th, 9 a.m. Jim Rapier will be here. We'll be continuing our list. 15 most important Saints, Jim Rapier's trivia session. And then next Thursday, a week from today, on July the 23rd, the great Mike, right when I say that we're not going to have a lot of more 2-hour shows, there's no doubt in my mind next Thursday is going to be a 2-hour show. Because the great Mike Detillier is going to be here. And we like to have him on right around the time training camp starts, and he's going to come on again. I can't wait to talk to him about what he thinks. Alvin Kamara will come up, but we pretty much beat that horse to death, right? It will come up, but I'm just going to pick his brain in general. The Saints working their way out of football purgatory. Are they finally getting out of football purgatory? That would be my question to the great Mike D. That'll be next Thursday. And then after that, we'll have a Mono Monday and camp starts. We got 3 more shows before camp starts, baby. That's 3. Count them 3. Even a Shaw grad can count to 3. 3. That's right. Always reminders. If you haven't yet subscribed to the Dattitude YouTube page, what are you waiting for, my friend? Subscribe. Just take a little click. Speaking of clicks, click the little bell to receive notifications when we go on the live, which is every Monday and Thursday at 9 a.m. And when football season starts, it'll also be Sunday at 9 a.m. Starting September 13th, it'll be Monday, Thursday, and Sunday at 9 a.m. You know what's going on. You also can find us wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple, Spotify, and many more. Have a great, wonderful, fantastic, glorious weekend, my Houdat family. We will see you all on Monday. And until then, take it easy, my friends.